how to prevent stroke while sleeping. Sounds simple until you realize most fatal strokes happen at night. No warning, no pain, just silence. Your brain shuts down while your family sleeps peacefully in the next room. Eleanor's heart was strong, her blood pressure was fine, but she never woke up. In this video, I'll show you 3 doctor-backed ways to prevent a stroke before dawn, because what kills most seniors doesn't make a sound.
Eleanor was 72. She walked every morning, cooked healthy, and never missed the doctor's visit. But one Tuesday morning, her husband found her collapsed beside the bed. No movement, no voice. It was a silent stroke. The night before, she felt just a little tired. By morning, her brain had already lost the fight. If you're over 60 and believe healthy living protects you while you sleep, please think again. In this video, I'll reveal 1. The top 3 warning signs you may feel before a stroke hits. 2. What to eat and avoid after age 60. 3. Doctor tips to prevent stroke, backed by decades of research. Stay till the end. These tips aren't just helpful. They might save your life or someone you love.
She had no risk factors, so why did she collapse? The silent causes of stroke in elderly people that most doctors miss. Her name was Margaret, 71 years old. No smoking, no diabetes, perfect blood pressure. A balanced diet with vegetables, oatmeal, and tea every morning. By all conventional standards, Margaret was the picture of senior health. But one quiet afternoon, while folding laundry, she suddenly paused. Her right hand dropped the towel. Her speech slurred, and within minutes she collapsed on the floor, conscious but unable to move. By the time her daughter reached her, Margaret's brain was shutting down. The emergency CT scan revealed an ischemic stroke. No one saw it coming, not even her primary physician. So what happened? Many seniors, like Margaret, fall through the cracks of traditional screening. They don't have high cholesterol. They don't feel dizzy. They don't complain of anything until it's too late. The real danger lies in silent vascular damage that builds up over years. Microclots, stiff arteries, chronic low-level inflammation that narrows the blood vessels without raising alarms. According to a study published in Stroke, AHA Journal, 2021, over 35% of elderly stroke victims had no traditional risk factors. What's worse, this silent progression is often misattributed to just aging. But age alone isn't the cause. Neglected vessel health is. That's why stroke prevention in seniors must go beyond standard metrics. It's not just how to prevent stroke in seniors with pills and numbers. It's about understanding the invisible processes and acting early. Margaret's story is not unique. It's a quiet epidemic. So let me ask you, when was the last time you or your loved one checked inflammation markers, vascular stiffness, omega-3 balance? In the next chapter, I'll show you the 5 warning signs of nighttime stroke that often strike without pain. But first, if Margaret's story touched you, please share it with someone over 60. It might just save a life. And if you've ever wondered how to prevent a stroke before it happens, don't miss what's next.
She slept peacefully, then couldn't speak. 5 early signs of stroke at night you must not ignore. At first glance, Patricia's morning routine looked normal. She woke up at 6:45 a.m., just like always, reached for her glasses, then paused. Her right hand couldn't grip. She tried to call for her husband, but the words were jumbled. By the time she made it to the bathroom mirror, one side of her face had drooped. It wasn't a heart attack. It wasn't a bad dream. It was a stroke during sleep, a phenomenon growing more common in people over 60. So why does it happen? The quiet of the night hides many physiological changes. Blood pressure naturally dips, a process called nocturnal dipping, but in seniors with autonomic instability, that dip can become dangerous. Blood thickens due to dehydration. The heart rhythm may shift subtly, and in the early morning hours between 4 and 6 a.m., platelet activity peaks, increasing the risk of clot formation. According to the Journal of the American Heart Association 2020, over 25% of strokes in older adults occur upon waking, with patients unable to pinpoint when it began. These are called wake-up strokes, and they're notoriously hard to treat since clot-busting medication depends on knowing the onset time. So what should you look for? Here are 5 early signs of stroke at night. Waking with numbness or tingling on one side. Slurred or incoherent speech upon waking. Confusion or inability to recognize surroundings. Severe headache not present at bedtime. Facial asymmetry in the mirror. If any of these occur, even faintly, call 911 immediately. Time is brain, and in wake-up strokes, every minute matters more. Patricia survived because her husband had seen a stroke PSA the week before. He recognized the signs. He didn't wait. That's what saved her speech and her life. Please share this story. You never know who's waking up tomorrow into silence. In the next chapter, we'll uncover the most overlooked foods that silently raise stroke risk overnight, including one that's marketed as heart healthy. Stay with me. What's coming may surprise you more than anything you've heard today.
How to prevent stroke naturally after 60. One healthy food may be quietly raising your risk. George was proud of his morning habits. A retired veteran in his late 60s, he started every day with a brisk walk, half a grapefruit, and a tall glass of beet juice. No pills, just nature, he'd say. He believed in natural prevention, convinced that his diet was his strongest shield against aging and stroke. But last fall, something changed. One evening, George stumbled walking to the mailbox. His left leg dragged slightly. He brushed it off as fatigue. 2 days later, his speech slurred during a phone call with his daughter. An ER visit revealed the truth: a silent ischemic stroke, likely caused by elevated oxalates in his bloodstream, traced back to the beet juice he drank daily. Yes, you read that right. Beets, commonly marketed as heart healthy, can, in excess, contribute to calcium oxalate buildup, affecting kidney function, and, indirectly, blood pressure regulation and stroke risk in seniors with comorbidities. This isn't to say beets are bad, but context matters. As we age, the body's ability to process certain compounds changes. The problem with natural stroke prevention is that many seniors believe natural equals safe. But even healthy foods can amplify risk silently, especially when paired with dehydration, medication interactions, or undiagnosed conditions. Here's what science recommends for stroke prevention after 60. Prioritize leafy greens low in oxalates like kale, arugula. Focus on hydration to reduce blood viscosity. Incorporate magnesium and potassium-rich foods for vascular support. Limit high-sodium health products like vegetable broths and canned beans. And, most importantly, rotate your superfoods. Too much of one thing, even good, can turn dangerous. George now drinks cucumber-infused water. He still walks, still eats healthy, but now he reads every label and every study. If you know someone who says, "I eat clean, I'm fine," please send them this video. If this is helping you see stroke risks in a new light, consider subscribing to the Stroke and Heart Attack Guide, where we share science-backed stories to protect those you love most. In the next chapter, I'll share the story of Maria, who followed every doctor's advice, yet still had a second stroke, and will uncover the one blood pressure mistake that may have caused it.
How to prevent second stroke in elderly, the blood pressure mistake that goes unnoticed. Maria had always been diligent. A retired librarian in her early 70s, she followed every medical instruction after her first minor stroke at 68. She never missed a dose of her blood pressure medication. She walked daily, ate mostly Mediterranean meals, and even joined a senior support group. Her scans were clean, her labs normal, until the unthinkable happened. During a quiet afternoon nap, Maria experienced a second stroke. This time it was worse, affecting her ability to read and recall names. There was no warning sign, no obvious trigger. Her daughter was devastated. She did everything right, she said through tears. But when we reviewed her home monitoring log, something stood out. Maria's blood pressure readings were only taken in the morning, right after waking up. Her nighttime values were never tracked. It turns out Maria suffered from nocturnal hypertension, a silent spike in blood pressure during sleep, strongly linked to recurrent strokes in the elderly. Many seniors and even doctors overlook this, yet studies from the American Heart Association, AHA, and European Society of Hypertension show that blood pressure variability at night is an independent predictor of stroke recurrence, especially in those over 65. This isn't just about taking medication. It's about timing, awareness, and full cycle monitoring. So how can we help prevent a second stroke? Ask your doctor about 24-hour ambulatory BP monitoring. Consider adjusting medication schedules to include evening dosing with physician guidance. Reduce sodium intake during dinner, not just lunch. Keep the bedroom cool and dark. Poor sleep quality can raise nighttime BP. And always ask this key question: how does my blood pressure behave while I sleep? Maria now uses a digital BP cuff that tracks overnight changes. She hasn't had another stroke since. If you or someone you love has survived one stroke, don't assume you're safe. In the next chapter, we'll explore which stroke prevention tips can backfire, especially when applied without personalization. You might be surprised by what we find.
Stroke warning signs the elderly often miss, and why one small symptom can change everything. Mr. Coleman was 74. He wasn't forgetful, didn't smoke, and had passed his annual physical just 2 months prior. His cholesterol was low, blood pressure controlled. To anyone who looked, he seemed like the poster child for healthy aging. But something had shifted. A few times a week, he felt a brief numbness in his left thumb. He brushed it off. Just old age, he said. Until one Sunday morning, he tried to hold his coffee mug, and it dropped. His hand couldn't grip. He couldn't speak clearly. By the time paramedics arrived, he had suffered a lacunar stroke, a type of silent stroke that begins with subtle, often ignored symptoms in the limbs or speech. These small signs are anything but harmless. Transient weakness, mild slurring, occasional imbalance, even short-term forgetfulness. They often appear days or even weeks before a full-blown stroke. According to the Johns Hopkins Stroke Center, many patients report strange sensations or mild functional loss in the 7 to 14 days prior to their stroke, but most didn't realize what they were experiencing was a warning. Why are these signs missed? Because they're not painful, because they're brief, and because no one wants to believe something dangerous is happening when life feels normal. But as a doctor who has seen dozens of these cases, this is when we should worry most. Here's what I urge every senior and caregiver to do. Don't dismiss any sudden change in speech, balance, or strength, even if it lasts under 5 minutes. Use the Be Fast method: balance, eyes, face, arms, speech, time. Keep a symptom diary: time,
Duration, what happened? Discuss all strange feelings with your physician, especially if recurring. And never forget, the earliest stroke symptoms are often the quietest. If this story struck a nerve, please share it with someone over 60. You might help them recognize the storm before it hits. And in the final summary, we'll revisit the most silent but deadly lessons this video uncovered. You've heard the stories, you've seen the signs. And yet, it's easy to think, that won't happen to me or my parents. But silent strokes don't wait for a dramatic warning. They creep in, slowly, quietly, behind a smile, a nap, or a forgotten word. They don't always come with pain. Sometimes they come with silence. So I ask you now, have you or someone you love experienced sudden confusion, imbalance, or unexplained fatigue lately? Don't brush it off. What you ignore today might change your life tomorrow. Let me take you back to the man I spoke of in the beginning. He exercised daily. He ate clean. He had perfect numbers. And yet he collapsed, not from a heart attack, but a stroke no one saw coming. A silent stroke. What went wrong?
He missed 5 hidden dangers that we've now uncovered. Ignoring subtle mental fog and imbalance. Trusting foods that quietly thicken the blood. Skipping routine screenings that reveal early brain changes. Believing healthy living means immune to stroke. Dismissing strange feelings as just aging. These are not rare, they are happening right now, in homes just like yours. If you're still watching this, you can't be silent anymore. Share this message. Start a conversation, because awareness is the first step to protection. Let this be your turning point. And remember these words: senior stroke awareness saves lives. Prevent silent stroke before it's too late. Health tips for elderly aren't just advice, they're survival tools. Don't keep this to yourself. Someone you love, your father, your aunt, your neighbor, might be living with the early signs right now. Send this video to them. It may be the reason they get checked in time. And if you found value in what we've shared today, subscribe to the Stroke and Heart Attack Guide channel. We share simple, science-backed, life-saving tips, because some things just can't wait until tomorrow. Stay safe, stay informed, and take good care of yourself and those you love.